responsible, sustainable coffee that feels accessible to anyone. We like to work when possible with female producers as well to ensure that we're supporting women in barista positions and roaster positions, and as well as at origin. And just as a reminder, you'll need to grab your scale, your beans, a cupping vessel, a couple extra cups for your cupping spoons to rinse in between each coffee that you're tasting, some hot water, and a grinder. All right, let's get into cupping. So first I'm going to take my vessel, weigh out my beans. Grind that on a coarse grind, a little coarser than your batch brew. Put that right in there. I like to grind up all my coffee and add the water all at the same time so that it all brews at the same time. So I'm going to pull all these out. Making sure that I have the same amount of coffee in all the cups. That I'm using a consistent grind so that those factors don't change between the coffees. Even one little bean can make a big difference to the flavor. I like to add the hot water. Ideally it's at 200 degrees on the scale so that I can also measure the ounces. And make sure that I'm using the same amount of water in all of the cups and pouring at a similar speed and ensuring that all the grounds are coated. Try not to disrupt the surface of the coffee too much. Pouring slowly and evenly without making too many bubbles. more in each of them. And we'll let those brew. So now that we've broken those crusts, we're going to start tasting. I'm going to start down here with coffee A, getting in nice and close. So this one's got some nice nutty smells right off the bat. Some tobacco. But there's also some big berry in there. Real even mouthfeel. This one's kind of thin, which I like. Makes it a little bit more sessionable, if you will. Going into this guy here. Lots of peanut aroma on that one. Dripping all over the table. Really creamy. Lots of chocolate, lots of peanut on that one. Real nice mouthfeel. Going in for Coffee C. This one has really delicate aromas, a little bit more floral. Definitely a little brighter, a little more citrus on this one. A little cherry in there. Yeah, and that one's a little sweeter, more on the cane sugar cherry sides of things. Really like that one. And Coffee D here on the end, really complex, almost spicy. Real earthy. This one has like a almost vegetal aroma to it. Yeah, a little cinnamon in there, a little almond. Some really nice nutty flavors underneath. A little bit more complexity, nice light roast on that one. All right, and for the big reveal, Coffee A, I have a medium roast Ethiopia, which is a washed coffee. Coffee B is Brazil. This is a yellow bourbon, a natural yellow bourbon. Our Coffee C is our Colombia. This is actually currently our woman producer coffee that we're featuring. And that is also a washed Colombia in a light roast. And Coffee D is our Burundi, which is a medium roast, also a washed coffee. So Coffee A is an Ethiopia. This is a washed process Ethiopia. It's got really great origins. The relationship that we have with this farmer particularly through Cafe Imports is really great. Cafe Imports started partnering with Tega and Tula, the farm that produces this coffee bean, in 2007, and has been working with them ever since to ensure that they have sustainability and traceability, even down to the block, which is great. They can even look at the subplots and have traceability there. It's a certified organic facility as well, which is excellent, and is doing something really unique in the region they're in. A lot of Ethiopian coffee comes out of like the Yirgacheffe region. This is coming out of the Kaffa zone, which is kind of thought to be the birthplace of coffee, like the origin of coffee. And they're using a different type of bean, the Kaffa tree, to actually grow these. So it's kind of an interesting coffee in that way. We really wanted to work with this grower because of their relationship with Cafe Imports, the organic certification on this one, and then also the flavor profile on this coffee is really great. The mouthfeel on this coffee is really, really light and delicate. It's a very airy coffee when you're drinking it. It's got a very soft feel in the mouth. Tea-like is generally how I describe that one, but it's still very flavorful. It's going to have some lavender and some jasmine. Ethiopian coffees are pretty notorious for having big berry bomb flavors to them, and so this one definitely has a little bit of that citrusy berry to it. But I really like the floral nature of this one, which is why we ended up choosing this particular bean over the other Ethiopian coffees that were available to us. And for Coffee B, we've got our medium roast Brazil. This is a yellow bourbon natural coffee, which means that the process that they use to remove the coffee cherry from the bean itself is done dry, rather than with our wash process coffees, it's done wet. This yellow bourbon is one of my favorite varietals, and it's actually the base for our espresso blend that we use. So this one stays pretty stable on our coffee offerings list. We picked this one from this particular farm. It's out of the Mataquaria region, which is a microregion that has about 2,000 farms that bring all of their beans to two different beneficios, which is like a mill that does the processing and the washing for the farmers. So it offers kind of like a communal process for washing these really high quality coffees so that smaller farms have the opportunity to sell their coffees. We really like this yellow bourbon in particular for our espresso and as a single origin as well for the peanut flavors. It's so delicious. It's got some really beautiful, like almost bread aromas to it. So it can literally taste like you're drinking a peanut butter and jelly sandwich when you're drinking this one sometimes when you really nail that brew. It's got that rich peanut. It's a really even mouthfeel. It's probably one of my favorite coffees, and this is the one that I'm most likely drinking at my house. I really love our Brazil. All right, and Coffee C, we're really excited to be working with this Colombian coffee producer because it is a women's coffee producer. The association that actually produces these beans is dedicated to educating and elevating women in their community, using coffee resources collectively, and just improving the quality of life for everyone in their region and in their community. The bean itself is also really unique in that it's a double fermented bean. So they actually pull the cherries, the purple and red cherries, let those sit in a hopper for 14 hours before they put them into a fermentation tank for 10 to 12 hours. And at that point, they're then washed 3 or 4 times to remove the pulp from the actual coffee beans before they're dried. So that creates, that fermentation process creates some really unique flavors. And that's where we're gonna get some of those really big berry flavors in this Colombia, the cherry that we get, and some of the complexity and the effervescence that comes from the fermentation process. All right, and last we have Coffee D here on the end. This is our medium roast Burundi. Sourcing coffee from Burundi can be quite challenging. The area, most farmers only own about a half a acre of land to grow coffee on, and they also will be growing crops like bananas and things like that for their family and also to sell. Because they are smaller growing plots, because the farmers have just less land, they don't have as many resources available to them. So similar to how this one is washed at a station with multiple farms, Burundi, that's a pretty common practice in that growing region. So farmers will bring all of their beans to this Mutsinda washing station, which is where we source this Burundi from. And they take in those beans, ensure that they're very high quality, ensure that they meet their standards, and then wash and process those coffee beans so that the farmers can focus on the other things that they're working on as well. We really love this Burundi in particular. It's got a really nice Malbec feel to it, so the mouthfeel is very heavy like a red wine, but it is pretty clean. I liked this one in particular because it does have some complexity to it with some cinnamon, a little bit of almond flavor, and a little bit of like lemon citrus almost on the finish. We really liked that this was something different. You know, our Brazil definitely has a creamy, peanutty mouthfeel. This one's gonna be a little bit more tangy, a little bit brighter. Something for maybe a more seasoned coffee drinker to try on the more eclectic coffee side of things. To talk more about how we got partnered up with Matinee, I thought I'd bring in Amanda, our Director of Marketing for Vitality Roasting.
Awesome. Hi, everybody.
Why don't you tell them how we got connected?
Cool. Yeah. So we reach out through with a lot of businesses through Instagram. It's kind of a great gateway for us to just connect with people. So Matinee made their Instagram account. It popped up as a recommendation for me to follow them, and I was able to connect with the guys who started Matinee. We hopped on a Zoom call, and it was just an awesome conversation. I think the coolest thing about being in the coffee industry for sure is just the community that we build, and so just being able to hit it off with people like we did with them was really special. And now we are here and got to make this cupping video, and yeah, we're excited for you guys to try it all, get some feedback, and just grow our little part in the coffee community.
Thank you guys so much for cupping with us today. If you're interested in checking out any of our coffee, you can definitely go to our website, vitalityroasting.com, and purchase any of these beans.
Yeah, and also we are offering you guys a discount code if you just type in Matinee. You check out on Vitality. Otherwise, there's also a QR code and then links on the Matinee website that will lead you right to all of our offerings. So yeah, just make sure to put that in when you're placing your order, and you can get a little discount from us.
Hi, my name is Kelly Gilbertson. I'm roaster and VP of operations for Vitality Roasting here in the Twin Cities. We have a small roastery in St. Paul in the Midway neighborhood, operated by myself, our head roaster Aubrey, and our head of marketing Amanda.